And welcome back to the Always Be Building Show, sponsored by the Dynasty Football Factory Network. I'm Stephen Chalmers, joined as always with my partner on the right side of the screen, Mr. Ryan Odell. Deli, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be back. It's been close to a month. A little rough. Sorry for the hiatus, but we're back. I'll let Stephen get into that in a second if he wants to touch on it a little more. But yeah, today we're back and we're talking. I'm going to get into a new series. We moved past the rookies for a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of offseason talk. It's about that time right after most people's rookies drafts, if you're nuts like we are. And we're getting into the trade portion of the year. So tonight we're going to talk about some of the quarterbacks you could be going out looking to buy, whether you need like QB2 to just tie together a roster or what it may be. And yeah, we'll get ready to get into this.
So, Dynasty Football Factory Network, as always, gives us our platform to come on here and speak to you guys via podcast. So, when I talk about this, yes, it has been a little while since we went live with these guys. It has been a month, and that's a month too long. We sincerely apologize. Again, I am getting ready for a baby on my end, and Ryan has some things going on his. So, but let's get back into this. Dynasty Football Factory Network, very, very affordable price when it comes to the membership here. $1.67 monthly, $19.99 annually. Either way, you can't beat it for the information you get here. Redraft, Best Ball, Devy, Dynasty, yours truly, Ryan and I, Dynasty. And overall, just access to trade value talks in our Discord, and just you have access to us at all times in our Discord. So feel free to join it. It's a great tool to have. I know rookie drafts are over, but Dynasty content and Devy content never stops. You always need the leg up and advantage.
Oh, for sure. Say what you want. Devy and Dynasty never die.
Never die. Never stops. They are the two most popular platforms, including C2C now. C2C is a big platform as well. We do both, Devy, Dynasty, and we also run a C2C team together. So these guys on the Devy side really help us out when there's players that we might have missed in the scouting process. So make sure you join it. Best content site in the fantasy football industry, no question about it. But tonight we're talking QBs. You should be targeting your Dynasty drafts. We have 5 names to list. We have 5 names to talk about. I want to start with my favorite value, and that would be Mr. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
So all the rankings we have are via Keep Trade Cut. We never use Keep Trade Cut as the Dynasty calculator. We just use this as a consensus ranking for the community. So via Keep Trade Cut, Dak Prescott is coming in at QB 22, behind names that we are going to talk about in tonight's podcast, but let's just throw a couple out there. Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Baker, JJ, and the list goes on from that point. So Dak Prescott, I don't believe is over the hill in any aspect. We're talking about a guy who has had 5 seasons inside the top 10. The year he led the league in passing yards when he tore his ankle in the game against you in Dallas. That was week 9 in that game, and he led the league in passing yards up until week 13. That is astronomically crazy.
Yeah.
So Dak has always been a fantasy producer, whether it be with his legs or whether it be through the air. And this is a guy that QB 22, that's just astronomically crazy to me. Crazy. 31 years old, still in the prime of his career, just added George Pickens as an asset, who we haven't seen CeeDee Lamb play with a legit wide receiver beside him since Amari Cooper left town.
True.
So rebuilding the O-line through the draft. Yes, it's not the stellar O-line he had when he first got to Dallas, but this offense with Pickens and Lamb should be a lot of fun. They should produce a lot of numbers. They should put up a lot of numbers. Their defense isn't great. They should always have scripts where they're having to throw the ball. Over the last 5 years, Dak's averaged 34 pass attempts a game. The volume is there for him to have a big season. Anything he gives you on the ground is just icing on top.
Yeah. I think something you didn't touch on top of all that is I think I kind of expected the Cowboys to fully address their need at running back position this offseason. I think they did, but not to the certain extent what's going to take away from the pass game. So I kind of am expecting a pass script from this game. He just came off of the season 2 years ago, his last full healthy season. It was a QB3 season. With Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb out there as wide receiver 1. Can't really get wrong. CeeDee's down there somewhere. I can't believe he's pwned this low. I think I drafted him as QB 24 in the league, and I feel like that value is a little bit insane. You're talking about a guy who's valued at QB 22 that's probably going to produce inside the top 15 easily, potentially inside the top 10 pretty consistently. He's done it, I think, 6 or 7 times in his career where he's been inside QB 10, 5. Wow, more expected. But still, nonetheless, it's the value's a little bit. He's definitely, if you're looking for a solid QB2, which is kind of where he's at nowadays, then Dak Prescott, go get him if somebody's willing to come off of him.
The crazy part about Dak is this. I don't know where the disrespect comes from. I know there's bounce back years.
And then, Cowboys. He's a Cowboy, man.
Years where Dak gets injured. The biggest injury coming in the game against you, which was in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022. And then 2024. Like, these things are just freak injuries. It sucks to see happen to Dak. Dak has been a stellar fantasy asset for a long time. He's killed the league since he's come in 2016. He's dominated the league.
Yeah.
Yes, I know regular success has not boasted well for Dak Prescott, but we don't play regular football here. We play fantasy football. And
all in season. All I care about.
Startup value in drafts is round 8. That, to me, just makes no sense. And if you want him, you really only have to give up a first-round pick this year in the 1.9 to 1.11 range. And it gets really clustered at the back end of these drafts.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that range, you're talking about one of the tight ends falling, Warren or Loveland, R.J. Harvey, Caleb Johnson,
Egbuka,
that range right there. It's such a clustered range. I'm willing to trade out of it if you need the QB help.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for me here. I think Dak is a great buy for you guys.
My number one guy, Steve had him off of his list, which I was surprised by, but I'm here to preach tonight about Trevor Lawrence. Since he's come into the league, has not, I guess the rookie year is pretty solid, but since then has not really came to be what he was supposed to be. But I think this year he's set up for a ton of success. Trevor Lawrence is going to come out here this year. I think he's going to be slinging the rock. Liam Cohen's coming over from the Buccaneers. We saw him last year. I know Baker had a great 2023 season. He had over 4,000 passing yards, I think 28 touchdowns. But Liam Cohen came in and he blew that off the top. Baker produced 4,500 passing yards and 41 touchdowns on only 4 more attempts. So I think Liam Cohen, what he can bring to Trevor Lawrence is going to be great. Efficiency is going to be there for him. He's got the weapons he needs. He has Brian Thomas Jr. and newly acquired Travis Hunter on either side of the field. I'm pumped to see what this Jaguars offense does this year. I'm kind of expecting Trevor Lawrence to finally take that step. And I think we kind of say that year in, year out, but now we actually have, for the most part, facts we could point to and say, hey, we've seen Liam Cohen do with Baker Mayfield, who was considered somewhat of a bust, and now he's going to come to Jacksonville, try to change the culture as the head coach with Trevor Lawrence. And I think he's around QB 16 on Keep Trade Cut. Probably he's got one of the lowest values he's had, maybe his whole career, besides the injury. I'm all for Trevor Lawrence this offseason.
So this is QB 15 on Keep Trade Cut.
QB 15.
Yeah, so with 15 being here. So the thing about T-Law, we've seen a top 8 finish from T-Law. That was his sophomore season.
Sophomore year.
Respectfully, where he had some rushing upside on the ground that allowed him to score 5 touchdowns. He's always had that. He's always had the ability to move, evade, escape, get out of situations with his legs. He's not a huge running threat, but he does produce on the ground to a certain degree. So it comes down to the development as a passer. Overall, the first 4 years have, let's just say, subpar. Let's say average. He has not lived up to the number 1 pick hype that we have expected for Trevor Lawrence. I believe that Caleb Williams is in a similar situation with him where the hype has been here. If he continues to produce at a mid-level with Ben Johnson there, you're going to see a fall off in his value as well. That's where we are with T-Law 4 years in going into year 5.
Yeah.
So I think if anyone that we're going to talk about tonight that is the most volatile buy here, it's going to be T-Law because we just haven't seen that consistent production. The amount of value you put in to get T-Law has not paid off to any point. So it kind of scares me here. I do believe that T-Law has the ability to jump back into the top 10. He's only 25 years old. He has one of the prettiest deep balls in the game. Him and Brian Thomas Jr. should connect early and often. Adding Travis Hunter is a big thing. I don't know what his snap percentage looks like. That's the one thing that scares me. The one piece I was hoping you would talk about is your Virginia Tech boy, because I do not believe that the Jaguars are going to pay any running back on this roster long term. I believe Etienne will be gone. I believe Tootin has a similar skill set to Travis Etienne. Not saying he is Etienne. He has a similar skill set. Nice receiving threat there. And I don't believe in any of these running backs in a run game long term. I believe if this offense is going to go, it's going to go through T-Law. It has to.
Yeah.
I get the upside. I really do. I just believe that if any of these pieces are going to fail, it is him.
I think it's worth the risk. I mean, it's one of those things where he's peaked at value. Obviously, he's not going to hit these numbers again. He was QB5 his rookie year. I think he balanced out his sophomore season around QB8. But you're not paying for him at that price, right? I mean, chances are where you're getting his value, he's probably a QB2. I think he's got a chance to have a significant jump, and it's always good to catch these jumps before it's too late. Next year, he could be valued inside the top 10. Like you said, he's only 25 years old with a new regime coming in and all these weapons to play with. I don't think there's a whole lot of – I mean, there's obviously risk with every trade you make, but you run to the point that he's been subpar to this point, but you can argue the same thing for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was pretty subpar early in his career until he found his place with the Bucs. I mean, 2023 was a good bounce back season, but he didn't eclipse 30 touchdowns. He passed the ball 544 times. I think that Liam Cohen came in for that 1 year, balled out, had great scheming for his receivers, and I think what Mike Evans and Chris Godwin offered on that offense, Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. also offer the same skill set those two do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that T-Law is going to throw for 45 touchdowns and 4,500 yards, but we've seen him have seasons of over 4,000 at this point, and I think the offensive efficiency can move up, and we can see him get high 30 touchdowns.
So the biggest thing about Baker Mayfield was you talked about subpar play, but I remember the hype for Baker Mayfield after he tied Peyton Manning's rookie touchdown record. You know what I mean? The passing touchdown record here. Threw 27 touchdowns his first season, took the Browns to their first playoff game, and God knows how long. It was Bill Belichick back in, 2000 is the last time they were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I believe there was hype around Baker Mayfield that was justified. I will say that the journey aspect between Carolina and the Rams, and now he's found his home in Tampa Bay at 30 years old, that Baker Mayfield, respectfully has lived up to his hype more than T-Law has to his. So I love T-Law.
Baker was a backup quarterback for a couple of years.
Right, but at the same time, first playoff game that Cleveland played since 2000. Great rookie season. The journeyman aspect does suck, but from 23 and 24, he's had a phenomenal stretch. He's thrown almost 70 touchdown passes in 2 years. He's balled out. I've loved this story of Baker Mayfield. I love this part to his journey. And I hope he continues to produce because I've always liked Baker. But so back to T-Law. I'm hoping we see that stretch. We're going into year 5.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can at least see T-Law average 18. The number for me is 18. I have to see that. At least.
Already paid.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just where I'm at with him. And I believe with how bad their defense is that he's going to have every opportunity to throw the ball 600 times.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So my next buy, easiest buy in the game, QB 14. Well, first off, T-Law, Dynasty value, startup, round 4. That's where you have to buy T-Law to get T-Law. Round 4, sometimes you probably slip into round 5 depending on need. Round 4 is where you're typically buying him at. So, with that being said, startup range. If you're going to get him, you got to trade anywhere in the range of the 1.5 to 1.7. That's just where he's at. That's where you got to buy him. I would probably send in a pick from 1.5 to 1.7. Actually, I'm not sending that pick if it's Ted. I do want Ted. Ted is my favorite receiver in this draft. He's one of my guys I'm buying everywhere. I'm not saying if it's Ted, but if it's Travis Hunter, yeah, I'll send it. So, next buy. For me, easy. QB 14. Don't know how he's gotten to this point, but Kyler Murray. Here we are. So, we don't play real-life football here, boys. Kyler Murray signed a 5-year deal. He's locked in as the QB for the Arizona Cardinals. He has 2 elite options in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. He has a decent running back game with James Conner and what they do, even though he misses games every year. Kyler Murray has never averaged in a fully healthy season less than 18 fantasy points per game. You can hate him all he wants. The dude produces when he's on the field. Doesn't matter.
He's made constant weapons out of his guys. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Trey McBride is some slouch, but I don't think anybody, when he came out of the rookie season, was expecting him to produce at this amount that he's going to. He's made Trey McBride a star, and he's still got a rising star in Marvin Harrison Jr. So he's gonna he's going to continue to have his field days, man. I get the short jokes are funny. I'm a part of them too. But Kyler's year in, year out baller. I think every year he's kind of on that buy range of where he's touching that good to great quarterback, but never that elite range. But dude's consistent, man. And that's a big thing that I look for in my fantasy rosters every year is 18 points per game on average, obviously, is pretty damn good for your QB1, QB2 slot. I think right now he's valued as a high-end QB2. So
yeah. So what sucks is the 2020 season where we saw him finish in the top 3 and we were valuing Kyler Murray as a top 4 QB option. Not sure we ever get back to that. I mean, that season he did have 800 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns to go along with the passing volume. But last year they said they held Kyler back in a rushing scenario. Wasn't sure how his ACL was going to respond. He was very, very cautious with his QB, 78 rushing attempts, but he still had 572 rushing yards and 5 scores on the ground. Yes, he didn't connect with Marvin Harrison Jr. early and often like we thought he would, but Marv didn't have a bad season in his own right. He still had almost 900 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. It's not terrible. Yeah. But imagine if they click. Just imagine when they click, because you cannot take a receiver as talented as him and not get him involved in the game. You already have an elite tight end option here, like I said, in Trey McBride. Again, a defense that isn't great, and they boast a lot of negative game scripts. I believe Kyler Murray, again, is locked into a top 10 fantasy season, and I believe Kyler Murray could finish as high as QB6. It's just what his upside is. Mobile quarterbacks kill the game of fantasy football. They do. They always have.
Yep, and always will.
And he's in the peak of his career. He is 27 years old.
Yep.
QB 14 buy. You're going to have to buy him in round 3 of your startups, late 3rd, early 4th. Again, you're going to have to send a pick in the 1.5 to 1.6, 1.5, 1.6 range if you want Kyler Murray. But to me, that is a player I will buy. I have a lot of Kyler Murray.
Oh, I know. All right. Next up, I'm going over there to Minnesota. We're going to visit the Vikings. We'll talk a little bit of JJ McCarthy here. A guy that was being drafted pretty high as far as Dynasty goes in startups last year and in rookie drafts, obviously. I think he was back end first, but by the time the hype was over, he was going in the middle of the first in some of the leagues that I was in. But he tore his meniscus. Obviously, that's a concern. He misses the first season, but I think, it wasn't part of the plan, but he was probably going to sit for a little bit anyway to sit there and develop. But the kid was great at Michigan. You talked about T. Law being the most volatile player we're going to talk to, and I still think, even though I believe in JJ McCarthy and what he has in Minnesota, I think he has the highest risk to reward in these people we're talking about. But look, he's got KOC, who's a phenomenal quarterback coach. Year in, year out, he's done it. The only quarterback that's had less than a 65% completion percentage with him is Joshua Dobbs. And there's a few quarterbacks that have no reason playing as well as they do under KOC. Made a start at Kirk Cousins. Obviously the Achilles doesn't hurt that, but brought Kirk Cousins back to what he was, revived Sam Darnold's career. And listen, JJ McCarthy's up next. That's just what it is. He's got Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the league. You can say what you want about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase over there, but that's just a connection that's been going since college. But Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the league. And then on top of that, you still got great weapons in Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. He's got a tight end with solid hands. He loved his tight end in college. I think he's going to go a lot to Hawk this year. I think I'm not going to sit here and say sky's the limit for JJ McCarthy, because I think he doesn't have as much rushing upside as some of the elite quarterbacks do. But for where he's at right now, for as young as he is, 22 going into the season, he's got a good chance to have a breakout season here.
The love for Kevin O'Connell quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So, since taking over the head coaching role in 2022, Kevin O'Connell has done nothing but produce elite offenses. And we're talking about passing attempts. 2022, 2023, we're talking about top 7 in passing attempts. They were number 6 in 2023, number 6 in 2022, number 3 in 2023. The defense bounces back in a major way in 2024. Yes. Passing attempts went down to 17th per game. Obviously, with a more skilled defense, you kind of can mask your passing game to a certain degree. But then again, we didn't see Hawk healthy until probably December. Yeah. Huge key factor. Hawk is healthy, like you talked about. Justin Jefferson, 1A, 1B. Take it how you want it. He's one of the best in the game. Jordan Addison, a great number 2 complimentary piece. For sure. But what we didn't talk about was the improved offensive line play. That makes a huge difference, especially for a young quarterback. When you have an offensive line in front of you that you can trust, that's going to hold up in protection schemes, that makes it a lot easier for anybody. It has to. And just knowing that if you do make a mistake, this team believes in you. They've had the opportunity to go get an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback. They had the ability to bring back Sam Darnold. They said, no, this rookie is my guy. Here's the keys to the city of Minnesota. Let's go fucking do this.
Yep.
That's what matters most. There's a reason you got drafted inside the top 10. There's a reason that Minnesota wanted you. You had a great showing in your preseason, very limited preseason role. Mm-hmm. And here we are. It's your offense. You got a full year on the clipboard last year. You got a full year of off-season workouts.
Hand him the keys.
Hand him the keys. I really do believe that this kid is special. I like the way he carries himself. I like himself as a leader. And I'm just excited to see how this plays out in Minnesota. If you're talking to me about QB 16, if you were to ask me any of these young QBs going into year 2, who could take that jump into the QB1 role, I personally will take McCarthy over Drake May. I do.
Love it.
I believe that JJ McCarthy could have a better season than Drake May.
I don't think that's too bold of a statement, but we're getting pretty close to high water.
I don't think it is. I really don't. Like I said, yes, I do believe that Drake May has had that help that he needed as well. Offensive line additions. Kyle Williams here in the 3rd round, Stephon Diggs, Travion Henderson. Yeah, I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's still not Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson.
KOC, you might as well be a part of that offense.
Right. I mean, from an overall standpoint, I mean, last year we talked about how great Caleb Williams' situation was, and yeah, it got better this year. But we also talked about how great JJ McCarthy's situation was, and we haven't even seen him play a real NFL down yet.
True.
And he's at QB 16. It's a little low of a value here. So
go get the kid.
Let the kid see keys to the Minnesota Skull Vikings.
Now, is he also in that as far as paying goes in the middle of the 1st round?
Yeah, him. So like the next QB we're going to talk about between Kyler, him, T-Law, and Baker, they're all in that same range, 1.5 to 1.8. So JJ goes in the 4th to 5th startups. He was going late 4th, early 5th as well in that T-Law range. So I have them valued pretty similarly. You're going to have to pay anywhere from the 1.5 to the 1.7 to acquire JJ McCarthy, depending on how people are on him. I do know that his name has a lot of positive light around it right now, so you might have to pay closer to the 1.5. And JJ McCarthy in this class, don't get it twisted, would be QB1.
Woo!
So
Cam Ward hate continues.
Yeah, I hate Cam Ward. Last QB we're talking about, Baker. QB 17. Crazy. Top 10, top 4 finish. Yeah, Liam Cohen's no longer there, but the weapons somehow tend to get better. Doesn't make any sense how that happens, but it does. So you found your true running back workhorse. You get Bucky Irving, who is a phenomenal pass catcher. You still have Rashad White. Mike Evans is back for another year, and Mike Evans has showed no signs of slowing down. He was 4th in overall wide receiver win rate against man and zone, and the dude is just a fucking baller. Give him the gold jacket, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mike Evans. On top of that, healthy Chris Godwin. Hopefully we see a healthy Chris Godwin by week 7, our favorite player on the podcast. Please come over here and talk with us. Anyway, you drafted Buka at 19. Didn't think it made a lot of sense, but you do. So for anybody that owns Jalen McMillan, I'm sorry. But
I was a McMillan stand too.
Yeah, but the overall value gets better for Baker. Play caller, I hate that you lose your play caller. But the last 2 years had the most pass attempts in his career, 566 and 570. On top of that, this is a team whose defense has been gutted in free agency the last 2 years. Pass attempts, I believe the volume is going to be there for him again. Only thing that concerned me were the 16 interceptions. Due to high volume, Baker tends to let it rip. He is a gunslinger type QB. Okay, you live with that. I'm not going to say I predict 41 touchdowns for him again, but I do predict another top 10 season for Baker Mayfield. He is just that guy.
Yeah.
He has found his home, and he loves playing in Tampa Bay. It is fun to watch him play.
Yeah. So the only thing – I'm not saying I have a problem with him being on this list, but like you kind of had an issue with T-Law. My thing with Baker Mayfield is he's coming off of his best season, and you're buying him, I think, at his max price.
QB 17 is a max price for him?
I mean, I don't know. He's 30 years old. He's got a contract there. He just lost his play caller. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad buy. It's just, do you think over time his value gets higher than what it is right now?
Okay, so you and I have talked about this where age devalues a player to a certain point in Dynasty.
Sure.
But at the quarterback position, I just believe that the QB shelf life and the wide receiver shelf life, these positions, it gets thrown to the wayside, and it shouldn't. Baker Mayfield is 30 years old. Like I said, the journeyman style that he took on here, Carolina, LA, and now Tampa Bay, he's found his home. He's on a 3-year deal. 3-year deal with some of the best weapons in the game. Still to this point, the best weapons in the game. You said, Godwin's not healthy to start. Okay. Evans is still balling out at 31, 32. And it gets better for him in that aspect. I like Josh Grizzard. He was a Liam Cohen coach. He was in the same tree. I do believe that he can step in and have a good role there in Tampa Bay. I'm not worried about losing Liam Cohen. Yeah, losing Liam Cohen sucks. I've seen what Liam Cohen has done with Geno Smith. I've seen what he's done with Baker Mayfield. Yeah. But it was time for Liam Cohen to get his own team as well. But I do like Josh Grizzard. I'm a big fan of Josh Grizzard. You know, it's another coach under the tree. Here we go. Let's move on. Let's play ball.
Yeah. I'm not saying Baker's a bad buy.
And Baker plays
you add to your roster.
And Baker plays in the weakest division in the NFL.
That part's true. I just think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have a problem with it. It's just, what are we paying the same range as like the 1.517 for a 30-year-old quarterback though?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he definitely. I will say he's definitely a player that you plug into your roster and don't have to worry about it all season as long as he stays healthy. I'll give you that 100%. I think he's.
So you're buying this dude
stability to your roster. I'm just as far as a value standpoint, is the only
especially in the dynasty startup. You're talking about a guy who you're buying in the fifth, mid-fifth, maybe slides to the sixth, depending on player need and overall way dynasty managers want to build their roster. You're telling me I can wait for a guy with consistent production like Baker Mayfield all the way until the fifth, sixth round just is mind-boggling.
All right.
I mean, that's QB 17. And after that range, you get into the Cam Ward range, that range. And
the Dak Prescott range?
See, I like Dak Prescott at the end of the day. I
do too. I'm not – that's 100% a joke.
I don't believe Dak Prescott deserves to be ranked on Keep Trade Cut QB 22. I think that's extremely low for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But again, it's the age thing. It's the multiple injuries over the last 4 years for Dak Prescott. And it's not warranted, but it is warranted in the eyes of Dynasty. What have you done for me lately? Dak, as of last year, has not produced. Sucks to say that, but that's just what it is.
This is fair. I think we hit our 5, right? But quick little just add in, like a little bonus honorable mention. I think Michael Penix is worth a stab. Where he's at right now in value. I think he's going to have the keys to this offense 100%. We saw last year against the Panthers, but he still, blew the top off that defense. He's a pure passer. Doesn't offer much rushing upside, but as far as staying in the pocket and sling the rock, he's pretty damn good. And he's pretty good receiver in Drake London.
Can I give my honorable mention to my guy as well? We're talking about a QB7 finish or higher overall over the back half of the season last year, Mr. Bryce Young. Bryce Young was the Bryce Young that I expected to see year one. That didn't happen. This year, Bryce Young goes ahead and gets a legit wide receiver one. He's not throwing to, Adam Thielen as his number one target now. I'm a big fan of Bryce, huge fan. This Carolina Panthers is historically bad, and they will be bad again.
Yep.
And Bryce is going to be on the field a lot with a lot of negative game scripts. I'm excited to see Bryce lead this team. There's a reason he wasn't traded this year. There's a reason why they used their first draft pick this year on an elite wide receiver. I think they believe in Bryce. I know I believe in Bryce.
Yep. All right. We'll better wrap it up. Gone for a month. I expected less than 100 viewers. We still got 145 tonight. So thank for all you guys that came out. Seriously, so sorry for the hiatus. Ready to be back, getting a little more consistent again.
Wednesday, running back buys. We're going to be talking running backs Wednesday.
Fun.
So it was great to be back. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, me and my wife are expecting the newborn to be here in less than 3 weeks. I think Ryan's internet kicked out, but this is where I will finish things up. So I appreciate you guys for coming out. 147 viewers. Couldn't ask for anything more. Wednesday, we will be back with our running back buys and dynasty settings. And we appreciate you guys showing up. And on that note, we are out.